Queer, adjective. Strange, odd, informal offensive, a homosexual man. Queer because not gay. Queer because I'm not white. Queer because I'm not rich. Because I shouldn't be here, right? I'm queer because of all of these different things. My definition of queer is existing as both a failure and a refusal, right? A refusal to define myself in terms given to me and imposed on me by colonization and imperialism. So when I think about my queerness, it's all about a refusal, but also about a return to homeland, a return to truth, to honesty, integrity, and dignity. For me, being queer is fleshing out all the things that were imposed on me and embracing all the things that I actually am. For me, when I think about refusal, I'm thinking about what it means to be someone who's living in this country, who's occupying this land, who descends from slaves who were dragged here in shackles. I think about what it means to be a child of the African diaspora who's not meant to be here, who was never meant to be here, and what it means to resist. When I think about what it's like to be socialized as someone who's on the LGBTQ spectrum or queer or trans in the US, which is a very white supremacist nation, what we're taught is to assimilate, right? So we only have a few models of possibility on what it's like to be queer. And those things are to be gay, things are to be white. Those things are to understand ourselves, our gender expressions, our experiences, and our sexuality through whiteness and white supremacist lenses. And that's something I'm just not interested in doing. When I think about my queerness in relation to my blackness, I can't help but to think about the motherland. I can't help but to think about Africa. I can't help but to think about what I know my history to be, what my cultural legacy is. In the Zandu culture in Central Africa, I want to say between 300 and 700 BCE, right? There was primarily queer and trans leaders. And my queerness, I feel like in ways is bringing me so much closer to my blackness, and the same way that blackness is bringing me so much closer to my queerness. In this moment politically, it's really important to focus on contemporary issues as well. Black people and black communities are seen as inherently homophobic, right? And that's something that we know is just not true. That homophobia and transphobia and all these different things are not inherent to the color of your skin. I want us to move away from thinking about our queerness and our blackness in terms of homelessness, right? In terms of, okay, how many kids are kicked out of their homes this year? How many people don't have jobs? How many trans women are dead this year? I want us to move away from those narratives about accepting them as the truth in our contemporary reality, but also thinking about the legacies in which we come from, that we come from royalty, and that even if we didn't come from royalty, we're still worthy. One thing I think about in particular is models of possibility, right? And what we get to see when we're growing up, and also when we're adults, and what narratives we don't. We get to see rich white gay men who are like the leaders of the movement, who we see, who are hyper visible, who have these lives that are filled with like hope and prosperity, under capitalist terms, of course. Also remiss of me to pretend that we don't get to see people like me, because we do, right? People like me do exist, and we get to see that we exist, but the narratives we're enshrouded in are oftentimes those of terrorism. When I saw people like myself growing up, I saw myself dead. I see myself constantly every day when I'm on Facebook, or when I'm opening up a newspaper, or when I'm just looking around, and I see my people being assaulted. When I see people like me being assaulted, and attacked by our own people, attacked by people who live in the same country as us, attacked by the police, attacked by the state, and numerous different other ways. Growing up, I know I never, ever, ever saw someone like me successful. I never saw someone like me happy in a positive and loving relationship. I never saw someone like me. I never knew that there'd be a possibility for life and living that would be one of happiness, and shrouded in love and success under whatever terms you. That's also a part of queerness, right? Queering the narrative of what life is, right? What living is. And that's something that I think about quite frequently, because we get to see gay, rich, white men being happy and successful, but people like me dying. And that's a narrative that I'm definitely looking to shift into queer. That young people, that black people, that queer people, that trans feminine people, that we can be happy, that we can survive, that we can live, and that we can thrive in abundance. Remiss of any of us to say that our queerness doesn't affect every single aspect of my life, right? My queerness affects my job, therefore it affects me economically. It affects my history, my culture, the legacy in which I come from. It's directly affected and informed by my race, by my age, by my gender, etc. My queerness impacts every single part of my life in the most beautiful and profound ways. And in this perverse moment that we're living in the nation state that we live in, and all of these really horrible contexts we find ourselves living under, yes, those things can somewhat be seen as negative, right? So because I'm gender non-conforming, queer, and black, somehow this can be seen as a negative thing. But for me personally, it's a beautiful, enriching, and fulfilling experience, right? To see myself as all of these things, to hold my identity as an amalgamation of all the things that I am, all the things that I can be, and all the things that I'm going to become in the future. My name is Joshua Allen. I go by they and them. I identify as gender non-conforming and queer.